All right, and we are live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 2000 on a Sunday evening, and that means that it's time for the Brushfire Mind live. Check us out. We got the new studio set up. Got the good backdrop set in. Bolstered up my mise-en-scène a little bit. Got Cade in studio with me tonight, and I got Steve calling in from a remote location as close to the borders of Canada as we ever get. We got the live chat running. Do please engage us. We've got some big and interesting things coming. And tonight we're going to be talking about the Great Meme War. I'm going to give you a little backdrop, a little history. Ooh, just a second. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's how I want to do it. No. I'm going to set up a little bit for professionalism, right? Forgive me for bragging, but I'm really loving the new setup we got here. It's incredibly comfortable, and this is awesome. So anyway, the Great Meme War. Many of you in our audience are also fans of commentators and pundits like Sargon of Akkad, Gad Sad, Bering, those kind of guys, Stefan Molyneux. Now, Sargon of Akkad in particular really got his start in the Gamergate scandals. Gamergate was this whole thing with the feminazis just attacking video gamers. They decided that, oh my God, here's a whole industry that's catering people that we don't abuse often enough, and suddenly began just writing these ridiculous articles. And Anita Sarkeesian in particular really capitalized and made a fortune off of advancing this narrative, this idea that all people who play video games are white supremacist patriarchy monsters, evil patriarchal feminism. So that's kind of where old Sargon got his start. And then he was very active with a lot of the rest of us, very active during the 2017 presidential campaign, which of course got us Donald Trump. Well, part of the campaign was a grassroots information warfare type campaign that has been referred to as the Great Meme War. And basically anytime somebody was caught lying, somebody would make a meme and throw it out there. And surprisingly, the memes were more critical and analytical than a news thing. So I was talking to someone earlier, and he said that he doesn't like the memes because they cause fake news. And I didn't really have a response. I didn't disagree with him, and I've thought about it a little more today. And if you're watching, by the way, we can talk about this too later. But the memes tend to be more, they don't really report information. They're critical, they're analytic, and they're satirical. So now, I'm sure you've all heard to death about the CNN Trump meme. The main video, the first one that was real big, that blew up about a week ago, where you've got the little video clip of Donald Trump at WWE, and somebody pasted in the CNN logo over the guy's face, and Trump knocks him out. And CNN just lost their mind. Oh my God, Donald Trump is recommending violence. Donald Trump is trying to incite violence against the media. Says the media which supports Black Lives Matter, says the media that's on the same side as the Black Panthers. And you know what? I am going there. As long as they get to decide that every conservative and every white male is a sexist, racist, bigot, homophobe, transphobe, Islamophobe, blah, 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 the whole alphabet soup of bullshit that they try to feed us on that. As long as CNN, MSNBC, and their ilk are going to keep deciding that white men are evil monsters. I want to point out that these same nutburgers that are suggesting that a funny video is an incitement to violence, they are the same side that gave us Black Lives Matter, the Black Panthers. They're the same side that actively supports violent, extreme Islamicism. They're the same side that gave us the baseball shooter just a couple of weeks ago. I mean, the Berkeley riots may have been a month or more in the past, but Steve Scalise was just barely a couple of weeks ago. And I mean, these are people who have also, you got Van Jones. It's a white lash. You got Mika Brzezinski. Oh, well, I'm just afraid that Donald Trump will be able to take over the media and tell people what to think, but that's our job. Oh, is that right, Mika? And now Mika's been crying about Trump's tweets. Oh, he's so mean. He's so mean. He's so mean to you. He's going to tell people what to think, and that's our job. Sorry, Mika. You don't get to cry anymore. Oh, Trump said that we're the enemy. Trump said that the media is the enemy of the people. First Amendment, First Amendment. You know what? Absolutely First Amendment. Absolutely 100% First Amendment. Let me tell you something, CNN, about the First Amendment that you keep crying that Trump is stepping on. You threatened to blackmail a man to death, a private citizen who you know damn well if you dox him, you publicize his private identity, his home address. This is the information that you're threatening to publish when you threaten to dox somebody. And you know damn well that your Black Lives Matter, your Black Panthers, your Islamicists, your Antifa, your anti-fascists, your Black Bloc, all of those guys, you are actively engaged with multiple terrorist organizations who are constantly and actively committing absolutely atrocious acts of violence. In many cases, like the Black Bloc and the Antifa, in direct opposition to the retention of the American people's First Amendment privileges, you are inciting violence constantly. You don't get to cry about a funny video that's perfectly within the First Amendment, as long as your viewers are burning and urinating on our flag. You don't get to cry about funny videos.
They fired Kathy Griffin.
Because that's gonna matter.
Yeah. She lost 1 gig a year. Yeah. Because they fired her. So I guess that was all her brownie points reattained. Was that New Year's? She lost her New Year's gig. So yeah, they're obviously full of heart and all about justice. Clearly.
In the interest of stomping on the dead air that it ended up right there, all I can say is the people that wanted to yell about corporations not being people, they sure as hell are worried about the CNN corporate feelings out of that whole Trump meme thing, aren't they?
Ooh, touche.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulty. I just lost the live chat, so I was trying to fix that so I could see you guys chatting.
Nobody has so far. Damn it, y'all speak up. You're more opinionated than this. No, I said it's funny that the people that kind of have galvanized behind CNN and the whole thing are the same people that want to yell that corporations aren't people, but yet they're telling us now that we've stepped on the corporate CNN's feelings with supporting the Trump meme stuff.
Right.
So poor little corporate CNN got beat up on the playground, evidently.
Now, I'm going to do a little shameless self-promotion for the show here. Obviously, we've got the new setup. I think it looks great. Please let us know in the comments. Tell us what you think. And when I say that, I'm not looking for you to stroke my ego. I know it looks great. Tell me how's it performing? Is the audio still good? Are you getting the same quality that we hope you've come to expect from us, with obviously the improved production quality here? Do comment on that in the section below. And in the coming weeks and going forward, when I do the bluff from now on, I'm either going to do the bluff itself live, or after I've recorded it and it's ready to publish, I'll open up a live hangout like this as kind of a premiering of it, and I'll show it from the hangout and talk about it. But yeah, just let us know what you think down here, and now let's get back to the topic. So CNN, to my knowledge thus far, is not actually suffering any legal repercussions on this, which is a little troubling.
What aspect of it?
Well, there's a few aspects to it. So the fact that they blackmailed this guy by threatening to dox him, by threatening to release his information, that's a direct assault on his individual First Amendment right. They have decided that he does not have the right to his speech. And that's unacceptable. No, you private business do not get to threaten the liberties, the civil liberties of individual citizens. Those of us who have served, we took that oath. I will defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. What is a domestic enemy? An organization using terror tactics to suppress individual civil liberties sounds pretty damn close to what I'd call an exact definition. I mean, come on. You don't get to come into my house with a gun and tell me that I don't have my Bill of Rights. You don't get to. No, CNN, you don't get to do that. You don't matter that much.
To be fair, our government doesn't matter that much. They sure as hell don't.
That is becoming more and more true, I fear.
It's becoming more and more dangerously threatened, most certainly.
And we got a few more viewers just popped on.
Excellent. Welcome, Gil.
Let me appeal to the couple of new guys that just popped in. Please leave us some data in the chat here. Let me know how the new setup looks, and more importantly, let me know how it's performing. How's the stream coming? Is the video smooth? Is the audio clear? Let me know how our technical specs are coming across to you. This is our first time live streaming with the new setup, and we're really comfortable.
And I'm sitting here on a broken office chair.
I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. But we're still talking about the CNN meme war. Steve, did you watch my my bat meme? Bat Trump drops CNN.
I watched it kind of quickly in passing, but yeah, that was cute. There's been a large wealth of things coming out, and Chris had made up a couple of them that should all join into the same massive mega clip that somebody needs to be putting together of all this stuff coming out. They've already made one, but it's only a third of what I've seen out there now. So yeah, somebody clip those together. Throw Chris's in. They're entertaining as hell.
I think my favorite one so far is the one with the cannons firing at the British soldiers, and one of the British soldiers has been replaced with CNN. I don't know what movie it's from, but the cannon fires a cannonball that bounces, and the cannonball is Trump's. It's Trump's head with this like war cry face on it, and it smashes into the CNN logo head and knocks it off. I think that's the best one they've done so far.
I believe that clip's from the Patriot, if memory serves.
Okay, gotcha. Hey, Melissa's in here. Good to have you, sweetheart. I was hoping you'd show up.
That's true, Don. It absolutely is smacking of a 1930s Germany, isn't it?
Which is odd because that's what we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the fascists. Not the people that were the Nazi and supported the Nazi party that came out of Italy that called themselves fascists. It's the people who opposed those folks.
Right. Yeah, no, we're supposedly the fascists, and you know, have we ever had a show where we've talked about the parallels between the modern Democratic Party and the Nazi Party?
We've touched on it occasionally. We've never done
several
a
times
dedicated specifically to that.
That's what I thought.
But we have touched on it, especially in
our Antifa episode does a direct explanation of what a fascist really is.
Yes. And one of our earlier episodes, we should redo it now that we've stepped up our game quite a bit, improved our production quality so much. But one of our earliest episodes was about the Overton window, and we talked about what the left and the right side of the Overton window looks like. And one of the things that just always strikes me, fascism is on approach to fascism exists on approach to totalitarian dictatorship. And Kate, pick that coffee cup up again real quick.
Are you looking at my bald head as I go forward?
No. Get the coffee cup up in the frame.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But how is it holding liquid?
That's cool.
Nice.
It's
a green and white striped coffee cup. We'll have to not use that one on the show again.
Yeah.
Reminded me of was it Spicer's tie?
Yes. They replaced it with all the different images and stuff because you wore the green tie. Yes. Now, in fairness,
that was awesome.
I can do that with any color tie. It doesn't even have to be a solid color. But anyway,
but it was clever.
We're talking about the Overton window. And on the furthest left extreme, you have absolute totalitarian North Korea. Right? That's the far left. In fact, realistically, the absolute furthest left you can go is hive mind, an actual hive mind. That's the only way you go further left than a totalitarian dictatorship is an actual hive mind, a queen and the worker ants. That's the farthest left. Whereas the farthest right, because conservatism, constitutionalism is all about small, responsible, responsive government, the furthest right you can go is actually anarchy. Now, of course, it's just foolish to strike out for actual anarchy. Actual anarchy is as doomed to fail as actual totalitarian dictatorship. More importantly, it's as doomed to fail as actual pure communism or socialism, because communism and socialism will ultimately and quite quickly become totalitarian dictatorship, an absolute autocracy. Whereas if you keep on going to the right, further and further toward anarchy, once you actually hit the rubber wall of anarchy and there is absolutely zero government, well, then you're into tribes. And once you're into tribes, you're already starting to drift back to the left. A tribe, informal, undocumented, uncomplicated as it may be, is still a government. It's still a social organization. And it's where you start. You hit that rubber wall, and you immediately bounce back to the family, the tribe, the clan, the village, and so on and so forth until you're back up to nation states. There is not, oh, Dawn, you started chatting at us. Okay. Kate, read that and think of something interesting to say while I keep running my mouth.
Go.
The rubber wall on the, there's not a rubber wall on the far left. What I mean by rubber wall is when you hit that anarchy, the immediate reorganization into smaller groups which begin to consume one another and build and build and build into larger groups until you hit nation states, and even potentially a one world government and United Federation of Planets. There's not a rubber wall on the far left. If the far left is victorious in establishing their vision of the utopian government, that's very difficult to dismantle. One thing that I can say in a positive way for the ideology of the far left is that a totalitarian nation is strong. It's difficult to destroy. It's difficult to crush. It's difficult
to dynasty. We saw dynasties come and go in the East for what, millennia?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was, and they still the East, as opposed to the Occident, the Orient has always had the more hive mind mentality.
Right.
What Don said, by the by, I wish I had seen this. He's talking about the Trump supporter who grabs a megaphone at an Antifa rally and started quoting Hitler, and apparently the crowd started cheering, not recognizing the quotes. I really wish we had seen this before the show. That's fantastic. Even in its irrelevance, possibly next week, we are going to talk about that. I'm determined.
Okay.
To remember talking about.
Yeah,
that.
we can look that up later.
The other side of that, just leaving it in context for now, it's been well established for hundreds of years, with the benefit of hindsight for us studying the past. Over and over, any established society over time tends to drift further and further left by our definitions of it. And if you'll notice, most of the societies that have ever existed collapsed. The further they got to the left, the less they could be supported and maintained, except when it comes to absolute military power.
Right. And the thing that causes large societies to collapse, almost invariably, the one factor is always an insurmountable national debt. And almost invariably, bread and circus, Nazi Germany, fascista,
World Star Hip Hop?
Maybe. But the common threads are a welfare state and multi-front wars. Every time you go welfare state and multi-front war, you're done. That's how you kill a nation.
And inaccurate propaganda.
And I would like to point out also, Great Britain being an excellent example. The multi-fronted war does not itself kill nations. That is totally doable. But once you add the element of panicum, bread and circus, the welfare state, you're done. Largely, what what it is once you start giving free money to people, once you start just giving it away, more and more people will choose the easy wrong over the hard right. They'll go for the free money, whatever it is that they get out of bread and circus. In America, we have Snap and Netflix. In Rome, they had bread, and they had the gladiatorial arena. You placate the mind with intellectual opium, some kind of entertainment, and you keep the belly just full enough to quell the drive for insurrection.
So what you're saying is, if Bernie Sanders had more entertainment value, he could have been wildly successful.
Once he got a floppy head.
He did what?
Bernie Sanders got a lot more entertaining when he wound up with a floppy head.
True that.
Well, I do what I can, baby. I do what I can.
And for those that didn't get the joke, look back through some of the stuff that's been posted, Chris. That's another one of Chris's memes.
Zach says the left is the Borg. They could never be the Federation. I want to touch on that, actually. In the Star Trek universe, there are races that still use currency. The Federation it's a federation of multiple different species throughout the galaxy. But in the Federation itself does not have a standard currency. Some member species of the Federation still have currencies within their individual empires or colonial establishments, but the Federation itself doesn't have a currency. The Federation itself is actually massively socialist. And I will even go so far as to defend the functionality of the Federation as a socialist group, and that the efficacy of that is utterly defensible. We could have the utopian vision of socialism where everybody gets everything they want for free in that scenario, because here's the deal. Here's ultimately the reason that socialism cannot work today, because we must produce goods. At a bare minimum, we have to eat. Everything else you want, your TV, your iPhone, your car, your whatever, if we all worldwide collectively decided, we can do without that, we still have to eat. We still have to drink water, and we still have to eat food, which means that production still must occur. And if production must occur and men cannot individually own the means or the product of their own production, then we devolve immediately into deep warring rage tribes. And of course, that strikes the far right rubber wall that I was talking about earlier. The reason that the Federation can operate that socialist utopia that they do in Star Trek is because they have one thing. They have the replicator. It is possible in that science fiction world for people to live happily and consume all the food that they may need without any individual person having to actually produce the food or even the means of producing the food. Even on the starship, when they need parts, the parts are made in a replicator. If they need new engine parts, they need to replace a wall panel, they need to replace a run of wire, that's also produced by the replicator. The only reason people work, the only reason the Enterprise exists to conduct galactic exploration is because the writers creating that universe believe, as I do, in fact, that above and beyond profit, man needs work. Man needs to be active and productive in order to be happy and healthy and to enjoy himself. Man enjoys achievement. And that's why there is a Starship Enterprise. The Enterprise is about exploring, learning, growing, becoming more, about achieving. But for it to exist without a free market and an absolute free market, the enterprise could not exist in our current bastardized, Bolshevized bullshit free market. But in a real free market, you could have the Starship Enterprise, or in a perfect socialism that included artificial replication of individual products to include foodstuffs, you could have a Starship Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Multi-front war is okay if it's providing for the welfare. Find ourselves invading places since Vietnam and then instantly making them welfare states. Just another drain. Zach, I'm actually having a little trouble with the way you worded that last comment. I think I get where you're going with it. But yeah, the multi-front war is okay if it's providing for the welfare. Okay, so here's one of the big problems with war generally as far as an enterprise. America has been incredibly bad at monetizing the spoils of war. And we shouldn't be. If you have earned, you should have. We didn't take the oil. We didn't take over the oil. We have to monetize the spoils of war. If you conquer a nation, for whatever reason the war happened, good, bad, right, or wrong, you could be wrong as you could be. But from the perspective of talking about the efficacy of a nation, if you're not profiting by the spoils of the war, then you're working in the red. You're fighting your way into debt, and that debt will crush you. Okay. Apparently, Zach believes that I understand his sentiment well enough to have addressed it correctly. Excellent. Oh. So yeah, wow, we've gotten wildly off of the topic, but I really like where we've taken this discussion tonight.
I'm not sure how far you can go straight forward with the meme thing, especially without popping the memes up on the screen.
Yeah, well, besides that, it's a microcosm of the large problem. I mean, they're coming so rapidly we couldn't keep up with them anyway.
Right.
Yeah, and I didn't want to really talk about the individual memes. I wanted to talk about the broader ramifications of a corporate entity threatening to do murder on a private citizen for the simple crime of having expressed his opinion through his Second Amendment privileges. And even going so far as to unmask his anonymous persona and threatening to release that persona.
Did you say Second Amendment privileges?
Did I?
Yeah, First Amendment privileges.
I meant First Amendment rights.
Just to clarify, he didn't go waving a gun at anyone.
Right.
Maybe you are.
There was somebody, I don't remember if she was from CNN or somewhere else, but there was someone who had made a statement to the effect that no one has the right to anonymity. So I thought that was an interesting take on something like that. So evidently it should be okay to publish the names and addresses of anyone who dissents with the press's opinion.
Yeah. She's simply wrong.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't disagree with her opinion. Her statement is objectively false.
I'm Googling because I have something to add that I forgot.
Google.
There was someone who I'm gonna give you the name in just a second. Lucian Wintrich, White House correspondent for the Gateway Pundit. he posted a meme of the Twin Towers in New York on September 11th, 2001, dressed up as CNN towers-ish, cartoonish, with the second plane to hit the World Trade Center having Trump's head on it. Now, here's obviously that was in poor taste. He turned around and took it down. He didn't apologize for it. But this guy, we're talking about a super right wing, and he refers to Donald Trump as Daddy a lot. Daddy's going to fix it. Daddy's going to get us out of this mess. Daddy this, Daddy that.
Milo?
No, not Milo. This is Lucian. But he is a gay guy, and I think it's a part of that, like okay. the verbiage that they use is trying to be cute, right? So
I gotta agree. I really got a chuckle out of the just oceans of gay Trump supporters that call him Daddy throughout the camp. I thought that
yeah, because that's the thing. So but now fast forward past the 2016 campaigns, and now we've reached a point where this Lucian Wintrick guy, who calls him Daddy all the time, released this in very poor taste meme, and suddenly it's all over the old interwebs that Trump's son has put this meme out there, and they're saying things I've seen in comment sections. Oh, but it's okay for Trump's son to post this thing about. He calls him Daddy. It's a thing. It's not. He's not his actual son. Can we clarify this? Because he refers to him as Daddy, it's become that he's either Don Jr. or Eric. and I just wanted to address that. Anyone who's in, none of you idiots are watching our show. You would never. But for those of you who are watching this show, if you see that pop up, don't even bother to Google. It's not his son. It's this guy who calls him Daddy. That's it. And yes, the meme was in very poor taste. Anyway, moving on. I just can't believe that even became a thing.
For anybody who may not be tracked in this, no, Milo Yiannopoulos is not Donald Trump's actual son.
Nor is any other gay Trump supporter who calls him Daddy.
I know it's confusing with the hair, but
oh my.
Okay, I'm drying out on this one. Where are we, boys?
We're at 20 till.
Well, that's where I think Cade was right. Trying to drag that meme thing out was a little bit short, but I think it was important to point out the sentiment behind it, because everything, including Kathy Griffin and everything else that came up, all that stuff has been absolutely acceptable. But the other side said it and posted a video about it, and it became popular. If it hadn't been popular, they wouldn't have said a word. But the fact that someone else was getting a message out there that they didn't agree with was enough to make the left's media wing, so to speak, try to mobilize their little faceless army to try to make that guy pay for daring to step out of line with something like that. And I think that's well worth calling out and should not be legal.
Agreed. Well, Steve, why don't you go ahead and give us the you got the WHM tonight, right?
I do have. And we apologize for anybody who
for the audience. I just want to say real quick before we do it, I usually throw up the splash screen. We've got a little branding that goes on with the WHM segment. We're in the new studio. Still some technical things to work out. So, and Zach, I want your thumbs up, baby. I want you to tell people that I dealt with that busted ceiling tiles thing. I may have done it with green screen. It may be one big computer generated lie, but I fixed it.
Computer generated. We get more professional all the time. All right, so I've got kind of a unique White Hats Matter for tonight, and this one does involve a hashtag DRT, which should warm the hearts of several of our viewers. But I say it's a little bit different. This one comes out of Alaska, around 5th of July is the date line of the story. Little paragraph said an armed 11-year-old walking to a fishing hole with his family in Hoona, Alaska, saved his uncle and cousin by shooting a brown bear that came out of the woods and charged the group. It's a long-winded story. I'm just going to paraphrase some things. The boy's father said there were 4 of the family in a line. The son was third. The bear came down the trail. The guy in the front had his rifle slung and did not have time to take it off. The bear was moving so quick.
That is
the first guy and second guy. Say again?
That is the single most Alaska thing I have ever heard in my life.
The first 2 in the line were able to dodge the bear by jumping off the path, and the 11-year-old and his cousin standing there as the bear was closing. Elliot fired 3 rounds of birdshot from his shotgun, the first of which, quote, did absolutely nothing, unquote. However, the second round hit the bear right in the nose and traveled down through the neck. The third round dropped the bear. There is our DRT.
You could not.
The father said the bear had so much momentum that even after hitting the ground, he slid past the boy that shot him.
Wow.
Jesus.
And no one was wearing a GoPro.
No one was wearing, evidently not, because I haven't seen any footage of it. Once again, tonight's story, as most of our White Hats Matter stories, we do tend to support the NRA, and the NRA ILA website has an entire section dedicated to the armed citizen. And there are at least 4 or 5 incidents a week, most weeks, where guns of some sort are used in some form of defense. Pulling them from there because, you know, each other to keep the word out there. So, but yeah, this one actually was reported through Breitbart initially. So
you could put Ted Nugent with an active crew and give them 6 months worth of supplies, and that scenario would never happen.
Right?
That's incredible.
All I could say is that kid had so much poise in not letting something like that get past him. I mean, he reacted just how he should have. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Man,
the nuts on that boy to just stand there and fire that weapon.
Yeah, he's going to need a wheelbarrow later in life to haul that sack around.
Yep. That boy's going to surprise himself sitting down in the movie theater one day. I guarantee. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll be live every Sunday night at 2000 for the foreseeable future. I'll let you know if we change. I don't expect us to for some time. And we've got some exciting new stuff coming in the near future as well. Keep an eye out. I'm going to keep slinging some more of these Trump versus the MSM videos and memes.
If you subscribe, it'll come to you.
Subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you know when we go live. And I will go live at random from time to time. We'll have the live show every Sunday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 2000. For those of you that I love the most. And we've got some fun stuff coming. We're spinning up movie reviews. We're about to start filming some mockumentaries. It's gonna be a good time. So we love you. Thanks for watching the show. And until next week, remember, if you build a man a fire, you'll keep him warm for the evening. But if you set a man on fire, he'll be warm for the rest of his life. Good night.